arrived at a moment in time that only happens every so often. It's time for next gen. Reminds me of the time that I skipped theater rehearsal and waited in line at my local GameStop for the PS4. I got a stern talking to the next day, but it was worth it to play Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed 4, and Killzone Shadowfall in all their next gen glory. It's hard to believe that was 7 years ago. It makes me feel kinda old, to be honest. My name is WADE RONSPIES, and you're watching All In. And it's time for me to go all in on the latest invention from Sony called the PlayStation 5? And I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to be mentally prepared for launch day. The new tech, the launch games, here's what to be on the lookout for. Here's the first and probably the most important thing you need to know, not just about the PS5, but for both next-gen consoles. It's something called an SSD, a solid-state drive. The consoles you and I have now use traditional hard drives, but the idea behind the SSD is that it can access and retrieve data at a very rapid pace. But all you need to know is that the games you can't wait to play will load extremely quickly. Load times will be dramatically decreased, draw distance will be better, and there will be way less pop-in. Hopefully that also means we'll get fewer of those awkward squeezing through a small gap moments in games, which, in case you didn't know, are mostly there to hide loading. The SSD is a pretty huge leap in technology, and we don't even know all the ways it'll be used in the future. But for now, all we know is that it will be a speedy boy. This new power also means the PlayStation 5 is capable of a groundbreaking new technology that only PC gamers have enjoyed for a little while now: ray tracing. Ray tracing might be a fancy buzzword you've heard thrown around here and there, but it basically means that games will be capable of real-time world reflections and enhanced lighting. Typically in games, reflections are actually pretty hard to make happen. There's a surprising amount of development tricks studios have to employ to create working mirrors. So ray tracing allows for reflections to happen anywhere in the environment you'd expect reflections to happen. Puddles of water, glass windows, even cars and chrome helmets. It also means that lighting in games will be even more realistic than ever, reflecting a reality even further. Another huge next-gen improvement is the controller. Sadly, the DualShock name is being dropped, but that just means PlayStation feels that this new controller has ascended beyond just being a simple DualShock. Now, we have the DualSense. So, what warrants the name change? First of all, the DualSense is going to have something called haptic feedback, which means it'll have a very fine-tuned rumble feature akin to what you might find in the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Cons. You know how Nintendo calls it HD rumble? That is haptic feedback. It means that you'll get even better controller feedback from games that utilize it, like feeling the finer details in the road in a game like Gran Turismo, or the tension of a bow in Horizon. The DualSense will also have adaptive triggers, meaning the R2 and L2 buttons can be used to simulate specific effects. Let's say you're playing a shooter and your gun jams. The triggers can lock up, letting you know that you can't pull the trigger. Or in racing games, you can be even more precise with how you lay down the throttle and really feel the foot going down on the pedal. The idea is to not only make gameplay more precise, but to also give developers the opportunity to realistically simulate specific ideas. This, in combination with haptic feedback, will make games even more immersive than they ever have been before. The DualSense will also have some really nice quality of life features, like a built-in microphone, meaning you don't need to go running to find one every time you join a party. Plus, the PS5 will feature voice-dictated messaging, and with the microphone always there, you don't need to worry about always having your headset on you. There are also small things like the PS4's light bar being right there on the face of the controller now, as well as little lights by the touchpad that will tell you what player you are in local multiplayer. That's the stuff that gets me excited about the PS5. Yeah, there's the big stuff like the SSD and ray tracing, but there's also tons of small improvements that will ultimately make for an even better experience than the PS4. The user experience is also getting a total overhaul with tons of requested features like trophy tracking, something Xbox has had for a while now, and letting players join parties without needing to open the home screen. There's even going to be a picture-in-picture mode on PS5, letting you watch videos without even needing to exit the game. Some games will even let you jump straight into certain levels right from the control center, and images posted on PS5 will even have a spoiler filter that can protect you if you haven't seen the area where the picture was taken. And there's even something called Official Game Help, which will let you look up tips and guides for supported games without needing to whip out your phone or laptop. But what games can I play on the PS5? You can bet there will be a ton of all-in videos covering most of the launch games for next gen in greater depth, but here's a quick rundown on what you should be on the lookout for on day one. Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered, Demon's Souls, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Destruction All-Stars, Astro's Playroom, which will be free by the way, Godfall, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, digital only though, Bugsnax, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and even more that I didn't mention. All of them look great already and will play great thanks to all the features and additions I mentioned earlier. Plus, you'll also have nearly every single PS4 game playable on PS5 thanks to backwards compatibility, and there will even be some available for free with your PlayStation Plus subscription like God of War, Bloodborne, Battlefield 1, Uncharted 4, Final Fantasy 15, and more. So even if you don't buy PS5 games on day one, if you have PS Plus and an existing library of PS4 games to play, there will still be plenty to do. And I'm sure there's a million things I forgot about, or we just won't know until we get our hands on the console, but that's everything you need to know about the PS5, which releases on November 12th, so save the date. And that's it for me. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, you can follow my YouTube channel called RonSpies, or follow me on Twitter at WadeLikesPie. And I just want to leave off by saying I love this time around next gen, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.